Sue Taylor, Effective Office Services. 21 years ago I started. Then I got heavily involved in the legislation that was being introduced to start the BAS agent regime. Gradually built the business and still alive 21 years later. We're probably getting larger clients now, which is interesting because some time ago they wouldn't outsource so much, and I suspect that's because the nature of the work's changing. There's not so much data entry, so consequently clients don't necessarily need people in their office processing heaps of stuff. They can afford to outsource. Now we are largely online, but we still have these clients out there that want to see you all the time. So even some of those are online, but eventually I would like everybody to be so that I can outsource a large portion of the work and I don't have to be processing it myself. Yes, if I look at the stats, we've got half our client base now that we do remotely. I mean, we would never have had that 3 years ago. Yeah, it's rapidly changing. I don't know that I've ever looked for cloud solutions. I think they find you. I just realised that if I want to start outsourcing and I don't want a whole bunch of bookkeepers working with me in my home all the time, I had to find a way for them to be able to work outside of the home. So it became a needs thing. That probably was about 3 years ago. Look, it was terrifying, but it's been worth it. The whole thing's been worth it now, and I mean now we just keep adding on. GovReports with like this beautiful list of all the things that you have to lodge. No, I mean it's a godsend. You just look at your list, update it every couple of weeks, or your lodgements drop in. So that's great in terms of the BASs and managing them, and giving access to the girls. They can all log in and do their bits. The other thing is, of course, all the things it does that the portal doesn't, like the payment summaries, like the TPADs, like TFN decks, and at the moment I'm using the GovReports for tax as well. Yeah, and I run one of the discussion groups for the ICB in Balmain, and it's not just me. I mean, how many times in a meeting do I hear people say, thank God for GovReports, particularly around lodgement times, particularly around year end. And you do, and those that are on it just know the difference. Well, and also the fact it's online, you can log in from anywhere. You're not restricted to a computer with your OS key on it. From that point of view, I think it really is a godsend. I can go to my client, I can key it in there, and then I can print off a declaration and they can sign it and I can come home, and that's perfect. The second things would be things like payment summaries. I mean, you can't read them if you send them through the portal. You can't see what you're sending. Whereas in GovReports you can read it, you can manipulate it, you can do what you need to do to it. But the other thing too is that the support's always good. But I still got a long way to go with GovReports. So one of my projects over Christmas will be to start the digital signatures. You know, if you wait for the right time, it'll never happen.